going to think we've all been sat here for the last hour in silent position or waiting.
We have.
Yeah.
Should
Can't eat in the sandwiches.
all be asleep.
Hello, Nigel. You can't actually get in. It's quite fun. We've got that on camera. That would work. We could have written no end of script lines to that. Lock us out of the ground.
Yes.
Yeah. by one of the family. But then
Scotch
back
boats.
in. Yes. But then like, yeah. There's the punchline, mate. There we go. That's what we're waiting for. Hey?
Afternoon. You all right? Yeah. How are we on? Okay, let's go. Right.
The Villa job's available. Are you interested?
Not a classic question.
I was just joking. I'm sorry. Joking aside, though, it changes things for them. Does that change the way you approach the game? Does it change your belief about the game?
No, we've got to concentrate very much on our own performances at the moment. And Tuesday night was another example of that. Very positive performance, but didn't get what we were looking for. So we have to look to the next game, which happens to be in the FA Cup. So it's important for the players that they approach it in a very positive manner, and we have to block out all the stuff that's happening in regard to our opponents.
After the bizarre week you've had, is it nice to have some sort of normality back within the squad?
What's normality? What's normality? I mean, football is what it is. It's an industry in which you've got to be stay resilient and stay very much focused on the job in hand, whether you're doing well or whether results aren't going your way. I don't think that ever changes. As a football manager, you've got your own focus on what's required, and that's what I'll be doing, because it's important for us to get a positive result this weekend.
I heard after your post-match press conference at Arsenal, you said you had a meeting with the chairman and had a chat with him. You actually looked on good terms with him in the crowd when we saw some pictures of you. Is it needed to clear the air? Have you had a chat? Is that what it was about?
I think I've mentioned in last week's, or rather in Tuesday's games press conference, that my relationship is positive, both in terms of professional and on a personal level. So, but what always remains the same is that it has to be, there has to be a level of it's a professional relationship as well. So. I'm just focusing totally on getting the players prepared for this next game.
And it's not been weakened or strengthened, that relationship, after what's happened?
Relationships are always you always have to work at relationships, whether they're good, bad or indifferent, and as I've said many times, what goes on in the confines of the four walls that we operate in stays there. I don't have a great deal of control over what goes on outside of the football club, but I'll be working very hard to make sure that we go into this game as prepared as we can be, bearing in mind the speculation that's surrounded both myself and our club, and of course now our opponents.
Do you feel, Nigel, personally under more scrutiny Whether
than
it's
when.
on the touchline or in the crowd or just generally because of events over the last few weeks?
Yeah, probably, but again, I'm focused on what I'm doing. So that's how I see it, and I will be concentrating once I leave here today on very much the team, as I have been today. It's not a case of sticking your head in the sand. It's about dealing with situations as they arise, and as I said, my focus is very much on the team and making sure that our performance is a win rather than a disappointing result where we played well.
The FA Cup's been such a positive for you this season, beating Spurs and Newcastle. If you'd had those points, of course, in the Premier League, you'd be out of the bottom three now. But does that go into your thoughts going into this game against Villa as well? Of course, they're one of your relegation rivals now. You could put a marker down over them and create more uncertainty, more disappointment for them, maybe put psychological.
Argue that, but again, it's not something that is at the forefront of my thinking. My thinking is about us, about our players, getting the team right, getting the performance right, and hopefully getting the result that we want to go into the next round. When you're not winning in the league, then for sure the cup competitions give you an opportunity to and hopefully build confidence. But anybody who seen us play recently wouldn't suggest, or couldn't really suggest, that they lack an awful lot of confidence. We've continued to play with a positive intent, and that's always going to be important. But you know, for the players at the moment, they'll get my full support, but of course they need to produce performances themselves. It's not just about winning each game or trying to win each game. It is very much about the perspective of the season. We still have enough games for it to if we're talking about the Premier League status, for it to be in our hands, and the players have a responsibility to go out there and perform. It's never easy when you've got a relatively fit squad. Goes without saying there's going to be some disappointed players. But anybody who's currently not in the side or not on the bench has to knuckle down and make sure that they're ready for the next chance. And in that way, we keep a level of competitive edge to the squad. And I always feel that the best motivation for players is for them to earn and then keep their place. And that's something that, again, this game will represent at least one player's because of Robert Huth's being cup tied. That means that there's going to be at least one change.
You mentioned there was another great performance at Arsenal, and it really was. I mean, I think you were disappointed you didn't get 3 points, never mind 1 point. But all through the season, the players have heads up when they've had a performance like that and not got the result. Were they still like that after the Emirates game?
Well, they're bitterly disappointed, but it will be, I suppose, the best way to judge it is the next performance, and then the one after that, and then the one after that. It's the season. It's relentless in the sense that whether you're doing well or not, there's some sort of pressure. The pressure that we have at the moment is that we've not been a success in the league so far in terms of results. Talked about as being, getting a bit tired of hearing people give us praise for performances, but we're not getting the results. And we've got to make that change. There's nobody else. We'll do. We have to do that ourselves.
Team news for us. How's he up to?
He trained today, so we'll monitor him. Clearly, the Premier League remains the priority for us, but this game, and it's important that we perform and progress into the next round. But I'm sure Villa will have a lot to say on that.
Thank you.
Nigel, you talked about kind of disappointments, results not going your way, but being praised for the performances. A lot of people would say that they've just been unlucky. There's been tons of moments in matches where the game swung, on a missed chance or a goal at the other end, and that part has been almost relentless. That other teams, it ebbs and flows. With you, it seems to be flowing against you.
I'm not going to sit here and bemoan our luck. We have to make things change ourselves, and so whether I like it or not, the situation is as it is. What we have to do is maintain the belief and application that we've had, and make sure that if it is bad luck that we turn, or that we do everything that we can to change our own fortunes, and that really is how we go about working from day to day. And that's once you if you like relent to feeling that things aren't going to go your way, then I don't think that there's going to be a positive outcome. We still have a very strong belief in our ability and our ability to get out of the current situation that we're in. I think it's been clear with a lot of the performances that we've had that are capable of competing, but of course what we have to find is the way of turning those positive aspects of a game into more positive results. Now, I as the manager ultimately have the responsibility for that, but as I've said before, the players have a responsibility to each other and themselves to make sure that if it's 0.5% improvement, then that could be, it's very difficult to quantify what actually makes the difference, but it doesn't matter how small the margins are. We have to endeavour to find the solutions, and that's myself, the staff, and of course the players, and that's what we'll continue to do.
What for broadcast, guys?
Yeah, just one more question.
Yeah.
You mentioned about the Premier League being a priority, and of course
Yes.
the new TV deal that's been signed there that has extra financial urgency. Is there any sense that perhaps a cup run might be a distraction from your priorities?
I think I've explained the thinking behind preparing for a game like this. That and that is very much that it's our next opportunity to win a game, and when wins have been as difficult to come by as they have for us this season, it's not really about the financial aspects of Premier League status are huge, but the benefits of winning cup games in our current situation, from a morale point of view as much as anything, are very big as well. And so I am very conscious of the implications on a financial level for any football club, and certainly for our own status. Premier League retention, in status is top of the list. But in the meantime, this is, and I have an awful lot of respect for the FA, for all competitions, cup competitions, and I think it's I don't want to suggest that I or anybody else at this football club don't take it seriously, but to make sure that we do everything in our power to have a successful outcome to the season. This game gives us an opportunity to if you like, improve our chances, because winning games is always difficult, but we'll be doing everything we can to win this game.
Nigel, can I just ask,
Sorry.
how pleased are you with your attacking unit in the Arsenal game? Do you expect it to get even better as Andre settles?
Hope so, and I suppose there's need some time to settle in. it's interesting that, you know, the question is about the attacking aspects of it. Consider we play with 5 at the back, and I think that in itself is, you know, we had a good balance to our performance. You know, possession-wise, we looked after the ball well. And we were able to create chances because of that. But we look solid as well. Whichever system that you play, players make the systems work, and you know, regardless of whether we play 4-4-2 or 5-4-1 or 4-2-3-1, the players who are selected for those games have the opportunity to make that system work, and that really is, again, that's, we know that we've got players who are dangerous in an attacking sense, but of course in the situation that we are in, we need every player who plays to understand their responsibilities with and without the ball.
Can I just quickly ask Nigel, one bit of news we had earlier this week was John Rudkin being made permanent in his role as Director of Football. How important is that for you as a manager looking forward, that sort of role is secured and you know who you're one?
It's, you know, it's an appointment that the football club always you know, take very, very seriously, and ultimately we all have a role to support the team, and you know, John will be working hard to support both myself and the team, and that's you know, that's the most important thing at this moment. You know, how things develop in time, I couldn't tell you, but you know, our focus has to be very much improving results, and whatever that takes, we you know, it's about trying to do that. So I think John's appointment is looking more at the long term. You know, he's been at the club for a long time, so the conversations I've had with him so far have all been about how he can support both myself and the team, and that's really the most.
Thanks all. We're going to go to Rittons now, from.